Hello and welcome. In today's session, we'll be talking about how to create test suites with Scandium. But first, what is a test suite? A test suite is a collection of related test cases. It is also vital to note that with Scandium, you are able to create multiple test suites, and these can be created by grouping our test cases under different test suites. So, some of the ways we can use to group our test cases under our test suites are: one, based on the area of application and the application's functionality. So, for example, our login are related has a related test case. So, this login test case can be grouped into our login test suite, which is based on the login functionality. Another way we can also create our test suites is based on our testing type. For example, we have test cases that covers our smoke test or regression test. So for all of our test cases that has the smoke test testing type can be grouped into a test suite, and for all that has a regression testing type can be grouped into a regression test suite. So let's dive right in. All right. So we're on our dashboard, and to navigate to where we can create our test suites, we just have to look at the nav bar. So next to group, we have our suites. So I'll click on suites, and here on the suite page, I have this button by my right that says new suite. So I'll click on that also. And here I have to input the details of my suite. So to do that, I'll give it a name depending on, so I'll say this is my test suite one. I can go ahead and give it a description. And for my environment, I do not have any environment stored here. So to do that, I would click on add new, give it a name environment one, and I would select my browser, operating system, and I would leave it at this resolution. I would save. So I now have an execution environment preferred, and also we have our execution type. So for the execution type, with Scandium, you're able to run your test suites in sequence or parallel. So I will leave it at this to run it sequentially. And also we have our test delay. So this is our test delay is actually our wait time. So this is like a global settings that applies a default wait time throughout the entire test suite, unlike the one we have in our individual test cases. And also same thing for the starting URL. So for the starting URL, it's also a global URL that covers all of the test cases under the test suites. So for instance, you have two test cases with different URL. You have one for staging URL and we have one for production URL. But then we have those functionality applies on both environments, and you want to run both test cases on your production. So you can just go ahead and input the production URL. And when Scandium is executing your test, it's not going to execute it based on the URL that is in the test case, but it's going to execute it based on the URL that you set here. So to add our test cases, we'll just click on here, and I need test cases B and test case C. So that's all I need, and I would create my test suite. My test case is my test suite rather is created. So the final thing to do here is to run my test suite. So to run that, I would click on the three options, and I have the option to run remotely, or I have the option also have the options to run locally. But locally is more time consuming, so I'll click on run remotely. So running remotely is like running my test suite in a headless mode. Once this is done running, we'll then have a notification here. Yeah. So our test suite is done running. So we can then proceed to click on our test results, and under our test results, we tend to see the result of our test suite. So this is the test suite we just created, and we see that we have 2 of 2 passed. So this is how you create and run your test suites with Scandium with just these few easy steps. Thank you for